All right, we are live. First time ever. We are the Pawn Boys. I'm Dennis Deuce, and I have absolutely nothing to do with Pawn, but I'm going to be on the show because I'm the producer. But we got Ryan Miner, Pawn Boy extraordinaire.
Welcome, welcome. This is our first ever edition of Pawn Boys. We will be running this program every Monday morning, hopefully at 9 o'clock. We got a little bit of a late start this morning. But welcome. We hope to go over some things, maybe some questions you might have about the pawn industry. That's basically our goal. Have a little bit of fun. Have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, so we're going to go through a couple of things each week, and man, my mouse doesn't work very well from this far away. First thing we're going to do every week is we're going to start off with, because you have the most amazing, I'm a sunglass guy, and you have the most amazing collection of sunglasses.
A couple of them right now.
We are. So every week we're going to wear a new pair of sunglasses, then we'll take them off right after the intro and try and sell them. No.
Oakley's. I've got all sorts of designer sunglasses. They are 100% genuine too.
Yeah. These ones are beautiful. You got to check these out. They're Ray-Bans, dual tone. Absolutely loving these. And the thing that's cool about these ones is they've got the copper-toned lens, which is really abnormal in Ray-Bans. I'm a copper-toned lens guy, and I don't own a lot of Ray-Bans simply because they're usually the gray or the green.
Right.
But these are the kind of the driver color, some people will call it. Very sick. Very sick. You got to check these out.
It's not the old styles, it's the new styles.
Though you've got a pair from the 80s over there, blue and white.
Vintage. Well, the retro stuff is in right now.
Man, those things are sick.
Retro stuff is in, and we got a lot of that stuff as well. Come down and check it out. The stuff that you see in a pawn shop is not what you expect. We have got literally a little bit of everything. It's just fun to come and look. If you don't even plan on buying anything, come in and check some stuff out.
You know, I have not been a pawn person, but working with you over the last couple of weeks, I got to say, I look forward to coming into your shop because there is always cool stuff in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's people that have never been into a pawn shop before come in here and they're just astounded by the stuff that they can find. It's totally unexpected. It's a totally unexpected thing. So a lot of fun. You can come down and check it out. We've got jewelry, coins, guns, bicycles, motorcycles. I could go on and on and on and on with the stuff that we have here. That's just a part. That's just a part of the things that we have here in the shop.
Small piece. So, all right. We're going to be doing a couple of things each week. We will have a guest whenever we can possibly pull one together, and we've got one this week, and our guest relates to this highlighted piece behind us. It's already sold because our guest bought it.
This is a 1903 National Cash Register Company solid nickel cash register. Just an example of some of the things that we see come through the door, and it's just cool stuff.
So one thing that I want to do each week, because I'm sure you've been in this business for 12 years, you have got to have just a ton of really interesting pawn stories.
Oh yeah, I could fill a book, I'm sure.
So slowly but surely, we're going to fill a book, one chapter, 1 week at a time.
Absolutely.
So, little boys and girls, it's now time for Pawn Tales.
Well, one of the stories I like to tell people, when I meet people and I tell them what I do for a living, they're instantly fascinated, and I get barraged by questions. And so I have got, these aren't tales. I mean, these are things that have actually happened in the store. Some stories that I kind of pull up to, I don't know, to fascinate them. One time I did, a guy comes through the door and he wanted to pawn his grave plot, and I had no idea. I had never. I mean, that's the fun thing about this industry is that things will come through the door that you have never seen before in your whole life.
Of course, the grave plot didn't come through the door.
No, well, he was holding the deed.
Yeah, but the plot stayed where it was.
I'd never purchased one of these things before. Okay, I had no idea how much they were worth. It turns out they're very expensive items. I've never had a need for one before. Hopefully, not very much. I won't in the future. But
But if it happens really quick, maybe you'll have the first broadcast live, hangout on air, funeral.
let's hope not. Let's hope not. He pawns this thing, and he had every intention of coming back and getting it. I kept it for him, and he didn't come back and get it. Well, ironically enough, his girlfriend calls me probably 2 months after that, and he had passed away. This guy had passed away.
The guy who had sold you the plot that didn't think he needed it anymore.
Absolutely. He had passed away, and it was very sad. That was a very, very sad situation. But his girlfriend was wanting to know if she could acquire the pawn or acquire the grave plot again. I said, sure, come on back and we'll take care of it. I never saw her again. I still have this thing, so if anybody's interested in purchasing something like this, I do have it. So.
And in what grave area is this?
I believe it's the West Valley one. I think there's one over by Winder Dairy. It's supposed to be a nice plot. I mean, nice place. So.
Have you ever seen it?
I haven't personally. I haven't been out there. So.
Well, if you're looking for a plot for your burial, or a Christmas gift for somebody.
Nothing says Christmas
like a burial plot.
Nothing says Christmas like a burial plot.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, I'm sure.
It is the most eternal gift. It never wears out.
We're not making light of this, but it just goes to show you that we take literally anything here at Lightning Pawn, if it has value. If it has value.
That is a great tale. So, before we jump to our guest, do you have something else that you'd like to highlight around the shop that might be interesting to people?
Well, I do have a great stock of guns. Those who are in the market for guns, it's a great place to come shop. I have a little bit of everything. Now, I might not have exactly what you're looking for at the time that you're looking for it, but I also do take requests. So if somebody's looking for something that they want to buy used and don't want to buy new, I take requests, and when I do get that item in, I'll give them a call, and we can hopefully make a deal at that point. So I have guns, and I have coins, jewelry, I have bikes and musical instruments, and probably the thing that I have the most of is tools. People don't really think of a pawn shop necessarily for some place to buy tools. They'll go down to Lowe's, or they'll go down to Home Depot, or some of the local places they can buy new tools and buy them. Man, I have got more tools than I know what to do with, and it's come in and check it out. I've got sawzalls and saws and drills, and I'm really picky with what I take in as far as tools go. So it's not old, worn out stuff. This is new model, name brand, excellent condition stuff, and that's just a tip of the iceberg of the stuff that I have in here. So I don't have anything specific. I mean, I have watches and high-end watches and diamonds and gold and you name it. Vintage guitars, all sorts of neat stuff. Small gifts that it's not too late to come down and get something for that last-minute person on your list. I've got entry-level guitars under $100, amps to go with those guitars, and I know a lot of people have that on their gift list for whoever they're buying for. Don't go to Walmart and buy the First Act thing. They're junky. Come down and buy a name brand guitar for less than what you could buy it for new at Walmart. We always kind of joke around here, cheaper than Walmart. That's kind of our motto.
Cheaper than Walmart.
Absolutely. So.
All right. So Ryan, we're going to bring on our guest.
Okay.
A quick question. You were telling me a story about that watch right there, which they can't see. Is that case unlocked that while the guest is on, I could grab that and we could actually highlight it on camera?
We could unlock it. There's some keys right over here.
Okay.
That we can
I'll go find those keys. And you were talking about bikes.
Mhm.
So we are going to bring in one of the other Gombach clients, and the guy who introduced us, Kirk, who you'll be able to catch later today on Jerk's Corner. And Kirk's a longtime friend of Ryan, and also a local business guy, and he's holding a clarinet. I have a feeling he might play.
He's
but
also wearing some sunglasses. We have.
he has some aviators on. So we're going to bring on this week's guest, Kirk Sherrod from Jerk's Bike Shop.
There was no fanfare,
I was
man.
just saying, there was no fanfare. I expected some kind of applause or something. I don't know. I guess this is our first show.
Yeah, I can get applause. Hold on.
Wow, that deserves applause.
Not even one less.
You don't play that thing, right?
I don't even know what this is.
That is a clarinet without a reed.
This is
So
a
I don't know if you're
clarinet.
gonna get far with that one.
Well, that's what I was worried. And this is the reed, right?
Yeah, I think it's broken, but
That is
easily
some-
replaced.
What does something like that cost?
You know, that is a student model. You can pick that particular one up for less than $100. And I've got all sorts of different models. You know, starting at about $75, going up to about $500.
I remember in high school we were playing these, and my parents had to go rent this.
Were you a band geek?
I was a band geek, and my parents had to rent one of these for me, and I hated playing this thing. I couldn't do it right. It was squeaking all the time, and and they were mad at me because they'd rented this thing and it cost a bunch of money, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
You know.
yeah.
They should have just come down and bought one from the pawn shop.
You're throwing money down a hole
Yeah,
that way.
That's exactly what happened. And I can't believe I just put my mouth on that. I have no idea where this has been, and I just put my mouth on that. If you come into a pawn shop, you probably should not. I'm going to get some kind of airborne syphilis or whatnot for putting that on there.
It builds up immunity, man.
It does. Well, then come on down to the pawn shop and build up your immunity by sucking on one of these liquor sticks.
Now, Kurt, you're kind of in a unique position. You have been in the pawn industry before.
I have.
Worked in the pawn industry.
Yep.
But you're also somebody that shops in pawn shops on a regular basis.
I do. Yes.
One of the things that I want to ask you, I mean, you worked in the pawn industry years ago.
Yeah. 8 years ago.
For one of the, I would arguably say, the pioneers of pawn here in the Salt Lake Valley.
Yep.
How's the pawn industry changed over the years?
Well, I see a lot more pawn shops. That's for sure. And then I see a lot less pawn shops. Some of the ones that used to be around when I was in the pawn business are no longer around. But I see other pawn shops. I see larger pawn shops that have come along, like big box store pawn shop type stuff, Cash America, places like that. I've seen those come along. I've spent a lot of time going to different pawn shops, buying things. It's a great place to buy stuff, and it's a great place to go look and see what's out there. The value for what you get for the money is so much better at a pawn shop. There's
Right.
no question about it. What I love about pawn shops like your pawn shop is that I can come in here, we can work out a deal, I can go home with something and feel good about it, and I feel like a rock star when I buy something at a pawn shop. I'm like, I bought this for like a quarter of the value or half of the value of what it was going to cost me at the store, and it's in good shape, and it's the hunt. You're looking, you want to go find that thing. I love that part about it. And there is one thing I want to say, though, that has happened. Some of the bigger box stores, pawn shops, like the big, huge shops, I don't have
Like
as
the
much.
national chains.
I don't have nearly as much fun going to places like that, and I don't find nearly the cool stuff. It's all the same stuff. A crappy drill that doesn't work, or you always see the same stuff there. At 100 different laptop computers that are out of date. I always see the same stuff in there. I'm not that interested in buying that stuff. It's almost like they don't care. I'm just going to buy stuff and I love coming in a place like this because I can look around and say, this guy's passionate about what he does. He's got cool stuff on the floor, and I can usually find something that I want.
For example, this.
For example, this. Look how cool this is.
Kurt bought this. I had this sitting in my store, and he owns a bicycle shop that has kind of an antique-y feel in the inside of it. Goes perfect with kind of his theme. And
My theme is antiques. I'm becoming an antique, so I thought maybe I would just keep that thing, that antique thing.
just as Kurt was saying, I like to I like to kind of pride myself on. I'd like to think I'm changing the pawn industry somewhat, bringing it kind of out of the dark ages. A lot of people have the I don't know, the notion that when they walk into a pawn shop, it's this dark, dungeness, fat guy sitting behind the counter smoking a cigarette.
There are those. Though. I have seen those guys.
I do have a little bit of a belly, I've got to admit, but I don't smoke and I don't wear a lot of chains. I've got a small one that I wear around my neck, but I'm actually nice. And a lot of these, I mean, have you ever been into a pawn shop where you didn't feel like you were welcome?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, you go and it's almost a burden that you're in there like, oh great, we've got another customer.
Yeah, and that is, you know, as kind of a rule, the pawn customer is not a very loyal customer. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like to think I'm changing that. And I think one of the reasons is they just never there was no customer service.
Yeah.
There was no customer service.
Yeah.
And I care about the people that come in here. I do realize that these people are paying my bills,
yeah,
so to speak.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize, or a lot of owners don't realize that, or people working in pawn shops. And so I'd like to think in some small way, I'm changing that.
Yeah.
So
I believe that. I really believe that.
So when you worked in the pawn industry, is that, I mean, how many years has it been now?
It's 20 plus years. Let's see. It would have been, it's 20. Yeah, 20
years
exactly.
since you've been in
20
there.
years exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite a while ago. You're that old?
Yep. Antiques.
There weren't that many pawn shops around when you were.
No, not really.
As you said, there's more pawn shops now.
There's more pawn shops. Yeah, I think there's more. And you know what's interesting about that? I look around at some of the pawn shops that were around when I was doing that. A lot of those pawn shops aren't doing so hot right now.
Right.
And I think a lot of it is because they haven't changed.
Evolved.
They haven't evolved with the business style and things that have happened.
Right.
You know, I think a lot of them would complain that the big stores are taking over, but I think that the main problem with that is they just haven't evolved along with what's happening in the world, and I think that has a lot to do with it. You know, I have a pawn story.
Go ahead.
Is this a good time? Can I tell the pawn story now?
You can. You guys
Or do I have to
camera.
wait?
You can tell the fun story anytime you want. Here, let's get a close
Okay,
up
so-
on your face while you tell your fun story.
Why does it have to be a close up on my face? It's
I
not
don't know,
nothing
why
to do with my face. Very little anyway.
You can't see your eyes.
Okay, you can't see my. Well, that's good because I don't want anybody to see my eyes. 'Cause, you know, I used to be in the pawn business. Okay, so when I used to work at Witzel's Pawn, and Witzel's Pawn is still available. It's still down. Where is it? 17th.
They're more downtown, yeah.
Okay, so we had a guy come in that wanted to pawn his glass eye, and it was just crazy.
Dude, I don't know if I could beat that one.
I'm
That-
not
that-
trying to beat anything. You know,
that beats my Great Claw story.
I don't think it does. Well, anyway, let me finish because maybe wait till this you're gonna get a kick out of this. So this guy comes in. He wants to pawn his glass eye.
Are they
What?
worth anything?
I don't know. You know, and Dave at the time, I mean, it was kind of a standing joke that he gave money for a glass eye, and I think he gave $100 for it or something, or $150 for it. And when always the thing we would tell people is they say, "Oh, I'm for sure I'm coming back for this. Guaranteed I'm coming back." Well, you never really know if they're coming back or not because.
You would think out of the one
Of the
thing.
one thing, you would think for sure this guy would come back for his glass eye, and he never came back. And I thought, you know what I thought? I thought they were round, like a ball, like a marble. You just pop that thing in.
Well, are eyeballs around?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We're getting
Well,
off
yeah,
on
they are. But
tangents.
anyway, I don't know. But anyway, it wasn't round. It was just kind of a piece that goes over the eye socket. Kind of fits in, and you just stick it in there. Anyway, Dave.
So somewhere there's some guy running around with one eye.
With one eye, and who
Okay.
knows if he's still alive? He was quite old when he came in. But anyway, Dave had that put on a chain, and had an inscription put on it. And the inscription on it says, "Here's looking at you, babe." And he still wears it to this day. I saw him not 3 weeks ago, and he's still wearing this eye on his chain that says, "Here's looking at you, babe."
That's a good
So
one.
there's a fun
I have this story. Now I know this is a G-rated show, okay, and I want to keep it as such. And I'm
Maybe I stepped over the top.
I'm not a sheltered person. I've seen some things in my life. I'm not a crazy person either. I had one time where, and I didn't even know they had such a thing before the guy brought it in, but it was a sex swing. And
we're going to talk about that.
yeah,
Okay, great.
well,
Here we go.
I guess I was sheltered. I asked him, "What is a sex swing?" And he didn't say anything, but he broke out a brochure
Oh,
that showed kind of what it would do. And I'm like, okay. And he proceeded to let me know that it was lightly used.
oh, good.
Okay.
Because that would be.
Now, the end of the story is I didn't end up taking it because a lightly used sex swing doesn't sound like something I'd probably sell to me.
No, it doesn't sound like some.
Anyway,
But you never know.
the guy tried. The guy tried. I didn't take it, so I don't have it for sale here. So don't anybody asking, I don't have it for sale here. But the point is we'll take a look at whatever you have, and that's what I tell people when they call me on the phone. Bring it in.
Have you sought counseling after reading the brochure?
They were drawings,
Oh,
thankfully.
okay.
So
That's nice.
that's a good story. But
That is a good story.
bring the stuff down. Now we don't only do loans. Just to kind of tell you how it works is we do loans here on items of that have value. So they're collateral items. You can, we keep the items here. You can come back and get the items, buy them back for a small interest. You can roll the loan over if you wanted to pay the interest on that item. But we also buy items. So if you just wanted to come in and sell your item, you can come in and sell it without having any further attachment to that item or obligation to it. It's a great alternative for somebody that doesn't want some spooky guy coming to their house that they sell on KSL. And there's a peace of mind there.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're dealing with over the phone, and although you might not get as much for me as you would if you sold it to a private party. It's quick cash in a safe, controlled environment, and that's a peace of mind for a lot of people. And I don't know, did you guys deal in a lot of purchases, or was it mainly just pawns when you were down there?
I think right at the time I was getting ready to leave there, they had gone over to the sale and purchase option. Before that, I don't think there was a sale option before that. When I started working there, it was pawn only. And I think that's something that's come along later, or was just starting to come along when I was.
Yeah, I think it's a fairly new concept to the pawn industry. Everybody thinks it's just loans or whatever, but there's been some state legislation change that's made it a little bit easier for the pawn shops to work that way. Yeah. So 20 years ago it was a different industry, yeah. Now we're like I said, I'd like to think that we're kind of coming out of the dark ages. There's some TV programs that kind of, strike people's curiosity, and I'm grateful for those programs. They're not at all real, in case you didn't know that. They're pretty contrived.
This is not real either.
No, this is all scripted. If you ever want to come down and see what really happens in the pawn shops or the pawn industry, come down and hang out. I don't mind. You can come down, grab a chair, see what we do.
The cool thing about bringing something down to Ryan would be that you could be like the show and find out what your item is worth or what the value is there, and just have fun with Ryan. You don't have to you don't have to feel uncomfortable by coming down and
I'm very user friendly.
he's very user friendly.
Yeah.
As we talked about with the sex swing thing, he's so user friendly that he's willing
I didn't laugh at the guy. I didn't
Yeah.
laugh at him.
Oh,
And
nice-
I was,
nice
yeah,
about you.
yeah. I took him seriously, and I laughed afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, of course, and you know when
And
nobody.
he got out to the car with his buddies like, yeah, it was so funny. We went in there with the sex swing, and then we should have videotaped that.
I was telling
It's on YouTube somewhere.
a couple of weeks ago. I was at a doctor's appointment for some of my kids, and then of course, you know, we get into conversations because all the nurses down there know that I'm, you know, what I do. And tell us another story. Tell us another story. And I told them that story.
Yeah.
And they all wanted to climb underneath the counter. I really shouldn't have told that.
That's the last time they're going to ask you to tell the
Yeah,
story.
I didn't mean for that to happen, but
Brian's fun at parties, too.
Yeah.
Just leave your sex swing at home.
please, I don't take sex swings, okay, or anything like that, okay. That's I guess I draw the line there.
We can go away from sex swings now. Yeah,
This is a G-rated show. It really is.
it
I
is.
bet.
It is.
Anyway, that is kind of you know, I'd love to hear from people either through my email or my Facebook site or Google Plus or whatever it might be. Tell me what you want to hear, and we'll get people in here, other pawnbrokers, people that you want to hear from, or things that you might want to hear. That's how I kind of want to run this is by your suggestions. You have anything else to add, Kurt?
Oh, I don't think so. I think we're.
You got to get off to work here.
I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go down and open my shop.
Kirk owns
Right.
Jerk's Bicycle Shop down the street in Murray.
Yep.
And he has great service, just like we do here. And we actually collaborate on some stuff. We send stuff down to, you know, if I don't know something or something about a bike, and you know we.
Ryan sends all his sex swings down.
I want that back. By
I'm
the
never
way.
gonna leave you. You told that.
Anyway, I appreciate you coming, Kurt,
Thank you.
and maybe hope to have you on soon. And appreciate your eyeball story.
Yep. Well, there's nothing like an eyeball story.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, give it up for Kurt.
Hey, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See ya.
All right. Now, you and I talked about one other thing that we wanted to look at doing. It came up just before we went live, which is that both of us are bilingual.
We are.
And you get to use that bilingual thing quite often around the shop here.
I speak more Spanish here almost than I do English. And I'm
So-
thankful for that. I've got a very big Spanish clientele that knows that I can communicate with them, and they can feel comfortable, and that I love that I'm able to communicate.
So, for the next 2 minutes, we're going to do the lightning Spanish round.
Okay.
For the
Okay.
next 2 minutes, the show's going Spanish. Sorry, we don't have the technology to give you subtitles underneath, so it'll only be 2 minutes.
Okay.
But let's go.
Okay. Aquí at Lightning Pond empeñamos oro que tiene y todas las cosas que tiene a la casa podemos empeñar o si quiere venderlos los compramos también. Y es un buen lugar para venir si necesita un poco de cash. Puede venir y empeñar las cosas. No venderlos si no quiere. Si se los quiere vender, está bien, ¿no? Los compramos también. Nos gustamos la gente que habla español aquí porque podemos comunicar con ustedes bien. Y el otro persona que trabaja aquí también es de México.
Entonces habla aún mejor.
Mucho mejor que nosotros, ¿no? Somos gringos nosotros dos.
Sí. Canadiense. Gringo canadiense. Con
Exactamente.
acento de Argentina.
Exactamente. Entonces, si quiere venir y empeñar o comprar, hay una persona siempre aquí para hablar con ustedes, que les entiende y siempre hay una persona que puede comunicar con ellos. Con ustedes.
Perfectamente. Entonces, vengan aquí y ustedes pueden recibir el servicio que tendrían que recibir y el respeto que tendrían que recibir y se podrían comunicar bien.
Muy bien.
Muy bien.
¿Esos 2 minutos?
Creo que sí. That's it. That's our Spanish lightning round, 2-minute Spanish lightning round. We'll do that towards the end of each episode.
Absolutely.
So, this is our first episode. Again, ask questions, Facebook, email address, write in the conversation underneath this. We would love to hear what you want from Pond Boys.
What do you want to hear? What are the things that you've always wanted to know about the pond industry? I'd love to hear. We'll do our best to try to cover it, get it on, maybe get the right guest on that we can talk to that maybe has some different insights. I mean, I don't even want to see my ugly mug every week, but we'll get some different people on here that you can check out.
That's right. So, thank you very much for watching this week's episode of Pond Boys.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you next week.
And tell all your friends about it, and tell us what you want to hear, and we will be talking 9:30 or 9 o'clock.
9:30. Let's make it 9:30. Yeah.
9:30 next week, right here on Google Plus, and hope to see you again soon.
Hasta luego.
Hasta la vista. And why is my mouse not working? I'll edit this last part out. Wow. It was working the whole time through the show.